You may be familiar with these words from the American Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Such wonderful truths about equality and human value. No one in the Western world would dispute this today. However, unlike what the Declaration says, the idea of human rights has not always been self-evident. When it was first introduced in the ancient world, this was a new and radical idea that came from the opening chapters of the book of Genesis. Our Judeo-Christian heritage is based on the idea that humanity is made in the image of God. Because of this, we believe that great value is inherent in every person. From here, we get the concept of human rights. Our society is shaped by this understanding. In contrast, ancient philosophies often downplayed the value of men and women. In the ancient Near East world, when Genesis was first written, humanity was understood to be made from the leftovers of the battles with the gods. Humanity was an afterthought, created to do all the gods' dirty work. They were of low value and therefore dispensable. The idea of human rights has also not been so evident in certain parts of the East. It hasn't been self-evident, for example, in places like India, where wives were thrown onto the funeral pyre with their husbands, or in China and the Middle East, where daughters were seen to be of less value than sons. When we understand that all of humanity is made in God's image, it changes the way we treat each other. Images are supposed to portray the one imaged. Historically, kings would set up their images at borders, like a flag, to represent them and mark their territory. In the same way, as divine image bearers, we are God's flag. In some countries, an act against the flag is treason. Similarly, every act against another human is treason against God. That means it's very important to God how we treat people. We see this idea throughout the scriptures. The value of humanity meant that the idea of human sacrifice in Bible times was morally wrong. It meant that even the weakest in society must be looked after, not just abandoned to their fate. God's people were to care for widows and orphans and foreigners. Nobody is too young, too old, too black, too white, too disabled, too sick, too different to be valued and accepted in God's eyes. This idea has shaped our Western civilization. Laws for the humane treatment of prisoners during wartime, the right to a fair trial, the plight of unborn babies, and the quality of life for the elderly have all come about because of the truths in God's big story in Genesis. It's also why Christians have advocated for refugees. Why in history, people like Wat Tyler, the leader of the Peasants' Revolt in the 13th century, appealed to the book of Genesis to release the poor from oppression. It's why issues of gender equality, social justice, anti-slavery causes, and looking after the sick are a priority for Christians. Indeed, it's why it's said in Afghanistan that if you speak of human rights or women's rights, you get accused of having converted to Christianity. Being made in God's image means understanding that everyone else is made in God's image too. That means we must not deface the image of God in our neighbour. We must treat them as a carrier of God's presence, created by Him for His glory. We must love our neighbour, no matter how they act. The big story in Genesis is a reminder of who we are and how we are supposed to treat one another. May we never forget it. Thanks for listening to Everyday God Conversations today. I trust it's been helpful for you. Join us on the journey to hearing God's voice by subscribing to our email devotional plan at godconversations.com. I look forward to seeing you next time.